Okay, I've just left Chennai. I'm on the National Highway 4, NH4, and I'm trying to head towards Bangalore. I'm using the navigation system, so I assume it's right. That's all I can do, really. It's saying that I've got 325 kilometers to go. I'm still in the city of Chennai, well, not the city, but the outskirts of Chennai. We're stopping and starting constantly at lights and junctions. There's a lot of heavy traffic on the road, really. But also a lot of people just going around their daily business, rickshaws. People on the scooters delivering things. And it's usual Indian style. Generally looks chaotic to me, and perhaps most of the Western world, but to them it makes sense. Okay, the horns that you probably can hear in the background. We've been waiting in a queue for a little while. It's moving, but very slowly. People are just getting aggressive. There are a lot of big lorries here. They literally force their way through, constantly picking the horns. What you have to do is get out of the way. Simple. Oh. There's a lorry in front of me, just put himself into reverse. Which is quite a novelty, actually, seeing a lorry with lights working on the back of them. Generally the lorries are in pretty bad state. Generally the lights don't work, but I presume mechanically they must be okay. It's their living, they've got to look after them. Okay, we're coming to another standstill. But this is going to be quite a boring conversation, really, describing stopping and starting in traffic, surrounded by big lorries. Where am I going? Yeah, where am I going? I'm going to Bangalore. And I've sort of been invited to go to an Oktoberfest, of all things. I'm going to Bangalore to go to an Oktoberfest at the German consulate. And I can't say that I'm in the mood for it, really. It's going to be a long drive. I'm not sure the car will make it. And I'm a bit late, so not that I'm going to rush, but I'm going to get there. I guess I'm going to get changed and then have to go back out again quite quickly. I'm coming to lights that are orange, now red, but I'm going through the main road. Because that's what we do here, basically. We completely disregard the rules of the road. On the opposite side is quite a long traffic jam, really. They're heading into Chennai, of course. And they're all goods vehicles, they're all trucks, lorries, commercial vehicles. Okay. Actually, I stopped in traffic for a while, so I looked actually where I was. We're actually on the Punamali High Road. I was told that it would be pretty busy, but once I got onto the actual motorway, autobahn, whatever, the national highway, then it probably would get better. But I think we turn off in about 1.5 kilometres, so it's not that long, it's not too bad. I just saw a young woman, in the car next to me as we stopped. What's interesting is that they, particularly the girls, it's more conscious maybe, but they put their handkerchiefs over their mouths to stop the pollution, basically. And I'm sure it helps a little bit. But generally, I don't drive with the window open. It's actually probably okay to drive with the window open. It would be cool enough, you know. The pollution is pretty bad. And I don't think it's because there's any more cars on the road than there would be in any other city in the world. Or certainly no more cars on the motorway, for example, than there would be in perhaps Germany or Britain. It's just that these things are pumping out shit, basically. I do feel the effects of it. I feel my throat becomes sore. Yeah, I get a sort of a sore throat. It's actually not the throat, it's probably the glands at the side, which is more worrying. I don't know, it seems more worrying to me. So yeah, the pollution is never ending, and you can't escape it. Well, I've just passed a dog sitting in the road of a motorway, basically, which didn't surprise me too much. But poor thing must have been hit by a car. It looks okay, it's sitting up, but there's basically blood dripping from its mouth and its nose. The things that you have to witness here, it's unbelievable, really. It's harsh, you know, it's harsh. I've just driven off from an exit, and what happens, that always happens really when you're driving in India, is that my way ahead was clear and I was drove off from the junction, just continued to driving, but the guy next to me in the left-hand lane wasn't. And it just seems to be an automatic reaction. They just try and force their way into your lane, irrespective of what effect it might have on you or the accident it might cause. It never causes an accident, of course, most of the time. But still, it means you have to take action to avoid problems. Or, most of the time, you have to be assertive. You have to just hold your ground. And it's a very strange thing to have to do, really, to be so assertive when driving. Because one of the things driving in the West is that it's very predictable. People follow rules. That's okay. And we've been taught that. We've been taught to be respectful to other people. I don't necessarily think these people are being disrespectful. But they're fighting for space. There's only a limited amount of space on the road. They want to get from A to B. And they're fighting for the space that's available. Okay, we can talk about lane discipline. Generally doesn't exist in the towns. Whether it be a one-lane or two-lane road, in the towns, however many cars you can fit side by side, or bicycles, whatever, motorbikes, that's how many you can fit, you know. And irrespective that one lane is for heading in one direction and the other lane is for heading in the opposite direction, that's of use as well. If there's nothing on the opposite lane in the opposite direction, you can use that as well in the towns. So generally you can be driving in the towns and you have a wall of cars heading towards you. Thankfully at the last minute they all seem to move back over into their own lane without it being too disruptive to you, you know. But anyway, on the motorways and the highways here, lane discipline seems to be better until things start to slow down, traffic starts to slow, there comes a traffic jam. And then automatically people revert to get through the traffic as best they can. Instead of staying in their lanes, they will go to the left, to the right, to the middle. And you can very quickly, on a two-lane road, you can very quickly have four vehicles side by side. Sometimes doing 60, 70 kilometres an hour at the moment. And that's fast to be in such close proximity to other cars. On a two-lane road, I would generally stay in the right-hand lane, because the left-hand lane is just full of too many obstacles, parked cars, cows, people. The road itself is generally worse, nearer the sort of sides of the roads. The only problem with staying in the right-hand lane is when people want to go right, then the traffic comes to a halt. And in the towns it's very difficult then, because changing lane in the town is very difficult. You have to be quite forceful to change lanes. Very careful. When I say forceful, I don't mean like aggressive. I mean you literally very slowly drift into the other lane and you cause a lot of chaos, a lot of anger, or a lot of horn picking. But at least on the highways, you do have time. There is a possibility to change lanes, although I don't indicate. I worry about actually going back to the West one day and driving, whether I'll continue with these bad habits that I've accepted and learned.